All right, everybody, welcome back to Stories from a Mountain Town. I am your host, Tyler Meany, and with me, I have our 3 times recurring guest, Alex Kissonergis. Alex, welcome back.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Very talkative, Alex Kissonergis.
Thanks so much.
So, Alex, your 3rd time back in the podcast. Tell the nice listeners why you're back for a 3rd time.
You asked me. He said, Alex, you want a three-peat?
What event happened that I thought was podcast worthy?
Yeah, we climbed a hill.
We climbed a little hill, little town hill called the Middle Teton. And now Alex, talk about it real quick.
Yeah, we went up and then we went down. It was a good time.
Talk about it a little bit more.
I think you should.
Okay, so the Middle Teton, is it the 2nd highest of the Tetons?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, wait, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We have some Pacos to drink, so let's pour some of those. Here you go.
Oh, to do with my hands.
Alex is going to try to hold the microphone this time instead of just keeping it on the nice mic stands that were provided to me from the good friend Adam Levick. So, yeah, you like that cup?
You like his bartending?
Yeah, look at that. Alex was a bartender in a previous life. Or would you call it a mixologist because it was like a cocktail lounge?
No. I would call it, I know how to pour a beer.
So the Middle Teton is the 2nd highest of the Tetons, coming in at 12,800 feet above sea level. Right? That's what it was?
Yeah, we got a computer here. Can we look it up?
We do. Young Taylor, can you look this up for us?
Young Taylor.
Keep talking, we don't want dead air.
No dead air. Yeah, I think it sits 1,000 feet shorter than the Grand.
Okay, let's see here. The Middle Teton is the 3rd highest peak in the Teton Range. The 3rd. We were wrong.
3rd.
The peak is immediately southwest of the Grand Teton, and the two are separated from one another by the lower saddle.
What's the 2nd highest peak? Mount Owen?
Maybe.
2nd highest peak. It just searched 2nd highest peak in the Tetons.
Okay, I gotta put my
Where's young Taylor when we need?
Yes, we were talking to Taylor. We needed, for those of you that listen to Joe Rogan, he has young Jamie to search things for us, and we need young Taylor. 2nd highest peak in the Tetons.
I think it's.
Well, no, now it's saying
Yeah,
it's
I'm
saying
pretty
the
sure
middle
the Middle
is.
Teton's
Yeah.
the 2nd highest peak.
What in the hell? Google, get your shit straight. Okay, so the Middle Teton is the 2nd highest peak in the Tetons.
Yeah, 12,805.
Yeah. At an elevation of 12,805. What does the prominence mean?
Prominence means the separation in feet from the next highest mountain.
Like, or from the saddle, maybe. Like, so would that be the distance from like the saddle up to the top?
You know, I only know how they do prominence for the highest peaks. I have no idea how they do it from the 2nd highest or 3rd highest peaks.
Or would it be the one below it, like from the south? Anyways, so a very big climb. That's the highest I've ever been. Wink, wink. 12,800 feet above sea level. And it was an amazing day. Alex, thank you for bringing me up. Thank you for waiting a day to go so that I could come with. He asked me to go if I wanted to go on Friday, and I couldn't because I have a job. Us in the real world have to work, Alex. But it was amazing, right?
Yeah, it's a good time.
We got up. We woke up at like 2:30 here. Left my house at 3 a.m. Got out to the trailhead at like 3:30. Got out there. Got going at around 4 a.m. Totally dark. Just walking your headlamps. And we actually flew up the beginning of it, right?
Yeah, we were. I was concerned that we were getting a late start. My idea was to start at 3.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what we were walking into in regards to snow or what may slow us down.
Yeah.
So we We were going fast the first few hours.
Yeah.
First 2 hours, maybe.
Yeah, for sure, until like the sun was rising. Once we got up, and I kept saying this when the sun was rising. I'd never been that high up when the sun was rising like that. Because, you're starting in the dark, and so with every second that goes by, you're seeing more and more color come up over the Gravant Mountains. And it's just outstanding to see it was like a full rainbow of a sunrise. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah, it's anybody who hasn't done it should.
With an experienced guide. Or a crazy guide.
Is that a legal thing? Do you have to include that in there?
Well, no, I just want people giving it the respect it deserves.
Oh yeah, I think you could hike up on some switchbacks. Be fine.
Yeah, it's really just
be safe.
So we'll talk about the difficulty part when we get to that. So we get up, it's like switchbacking through the pine forest, and then we get up to where it gets to like real alpine-y, and it's like starts to get rocky, and then we get right below the meadows, right? And for those of you who know, Grand Teton National Park, there's an area up there called the Meadows, or High Meadows, or Lupine Meadows. I think
they're just called the Meadows.
It's
Garnet
Canyon. It's this big canyon that sits at like 9,000 feet, maybe 8,000 feet,
maybe 8.5.
Yeah,
8.
It's up there, but it's like a decently flat little area. It's got a stream running through it. That you can drink because it's so high up, and they don't want people like going to the bathroom up there, and it's coming right out of the melt from the snow, so you can drink all the water up there. People camp up there when they're about to go do one of the peaks, and there's like nice grass and flowers, and there's like birds and little marmots running around. It's really, really picturesque, really beautiful, really, really awesome spot. So we get up through there, and that's pretty chill. And above that is where the snowfields start. And
they're not really fields so much as they are slopes.
What's a field? What's the difference between
a field would be flat, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So some snowy areas, almost called a glacier at this point because they hang around like all year, or almost all year, right?
Right.
And on the way up, since it was so early, the snow was pretty hard. It was supporting us. It was somewhat slippery, so we brought our touring poles to help us climb up a bit, and we didn't really have any issue on the way up. A couple little slips just to our butt, but nothing bad. And then as you're going up there, we get to a really big boulder field. I mean, how far do you think we traveled in the boulders there?
In the boulder field below the meadows or above the meadows?
Above the meadows. Above the meadows and above the snow.
Oh, I don't know, maybe, what do you think, a mile? Half a mile?
I was going to say like, a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're like hopping from boulder to boulder like the whole time. I mean, it's like boulders the size of like cars and houses. It's major. And the whole time there's like, flowers around you. You're in this canyon where there's like 1,000-foot cliffs on every side of you. And as you come up into this canyon, you can see the Middle Teton. It kind of sticks out from the back of the canyon, right? So it was really cool for me to be like, all right, I can visualize like that's where we're going because you can see the peak when you get up to the canyon. So it's like, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, you can see your destination.
Yeah, the whole time. And I'm a visual guy, so I needed that. As we go along, you get through the snowfield, and then you get up to what's called the saddle. Not to be confused with the lower saddle near the Grand Teton. This is on the south side of the Middle Teton.
In between the middle and the south.
Yeah. A saddle is just kind of a low area between two peaks.
Looks like a saddle.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like where you'd sit your butt. Like if a giant was going to sit on the Tetons, he'd sit his butt right on this area.
The saddle.
Yeah. So we get there, and that's where the quote-unquote hiking ends, I would say, and the scrambling begins. So from there, then you start working your way up to what's called south. Let's see, it's got a picture right here.
Oh, it's the Southwest Coulee.
Southwest Coulee. Couloir. Couloir if you're French, Coulee if you're from Jackson. If you're as cool as Alex and I. so you start climbing up this couloir, and a couloir is just basically a chute in the mountains that's, I don't know, it's steep. I don't know the definition, but it's a steep chute that we climb up, and you're scrambling, so you're using your hands and your feet to get up things, but it's not a vertical wall, so you don't need ropes or harnesses.
Yeah, so this isn't a grade 5 technical climb. There's no rope or even vertical climbing whatsoever involved.
But the coulee was, I would say, as close to vertical climbing as you could get without it being vertical climbing.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you definitely shouldn't fall.
Yeah. The amount of no fall zones on this climb where it was like almost the whole thing, except for like the switchbacks.
I think that you could glissade down a few of those snow slopes. Be fine.
Yeah, maybe if we had like an ice axe. So we get up there, and we actually bumped into a random guy who was climbing it for his first time too. So Blair, if you're listening, it was great to meet you out there. Wish we could have exchanged numbers or something so we could keep in touch while you're here in town.
He flew.
Yeah, he was up there hanging
He's tired
out with
of
us.
Talking.
He was like, "These guys are idiots. I'm getting out of here." And he was like a guide and Rainier for a while.
Yeah.
So he just knew what he was doing way more than us. I mean, even though you have good experience doing that, like you've never guided.
No,
he guided. He said for like 5 years or something.
He knows more than me.
Yeah. So when he started to go down, he just like flew down and didn't wait for us.
Yeah.
But we're on the top, and the top is like, about to sneeze. You're climbing, and then just all of a sudden you get to the top, and you're like, oh, we're here, And then, Alex, could you explain like the area on the top there for the listeners?
Like the actual top of the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you look west, you got a giant portion of the park that you can't normally see, that you wouldn't see from the Idaho side or the valley, the Jackson Hole Valley. You can see Icefall Lake directly south of the saddle, or directly underneath the saddle, I should say, not south. And obviously, if you look east, you've got the whole Jackson Hole Valley. You got the Grand Teton to the north, which kind of has this picturesque overhang over where you are.
Yeah.
So
If you follow me on Instagram, that the picture I posted, that's from the top, and that's the Grand right there. I mean, it's so big, and you're so close to it relative to every other time you see it that you feel like you can just reach out and touch it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, and it's about like how big of an area would you say the top of the middle is?
I don't know.
I mean, it's like a rock like the size of this office.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, there's 2 rocks probably twice as big as this office.
Yeah, so it's not a big space. And I honestly was really glad we were up there with just us and Blair, because if we were up there with like those 8 people, how cramped would that have been?
No, I was up on the Grand with like 8 people because it was a super nice day, so there's a lot of people climbing.
Yeah.
It was way nicer having just 3 people at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, you just enjoy it more.
Yeah, and we were the first ones up there for the day, which we didn't really think much of when we got there or when we were.
Well, we think we were, because somebody could have gone and done the middle and then the south.
Yeah, but we didn't really see any prints.
We didn't see any fresh
in
prints
front of us.
Fresh prints.
We didn't really think much of that when we did it, or when we were going up. We kept passing people, and we're like, oh, maybe whatever. But then on the way down, people would be like, oh, what'd you guys do? And we'd be like, we're the first to do the middle of the day. They're like, oh, no way. That's awesome. So maybe it's a cool thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I have no clue.
Yeah, sure. Plus 1 point.
Yeah. one extra point for being the first of the day. But yes, we were up there. So we were up there earlier. So the wind, it wasn't windy like at all, which was outstanding that we're at that high up, and it wasn't really windy. And it was in the 30s, but it was sunny and nice. So we were just hanging out. Oh, that's my alarm.
Nice.
Someone turn that phone off. So we were just hanging out up there, and it was so awesome just to be that high and not have any anxiety to like get down or.
That's the perk of getting up there at 9 a.m.
Yeah. We summited at 9 a.m. 5 hours of climbing to get up there,
Yeah.
but totally worth it.
Took us longer to get down.
Yeah. And then any other thoughts on the ascent before we get to the descent?
Just it's a pretty steady hike for the most part.
Yeah.
Little rock scrambly there at the end, but not too bad.
Yeah, I would say the average person could probably do 80% of it. And I
think
mean,
anybody
like,
motivated could do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, you don't need to have any sort of mountain skill. You need to be well conditioned. If you're not, you need to be altitude conditioned, certainly. But if you're in shape, you don't need any special skills or equipment to get up to the saddle.
Now, if you're doing it today, I would bring some crampons and an ice axe.
Why do you say that?
I think we could have used those.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah, so but it's just such a great kind of intro to big mountain ascents.
It's a very good intro. I would say I haven't
Yeah.
climbed anything better. That's a good intro to doing big
Yeah.
mountains than that.
Like if I want to do the Grand. I want to do the Grand this summer, but I've never really done anything that big or that long. So it's like this was the perfect little tester to be like, do I want to be out for? I mean, the Grand is 2 days, but for like 12-hour days, moving the entire day up that high, is that something I want to do? Is the payoff of the peak worth it for me? And it totally is.
Yeah.
And
That's what I live for.
yeah, yeah. But I didn't know that because I haven't even. Probably should do this, but I haven't even hiked like the resort in full or anything like that. And like Glory and I guess the Pyramid are the other big ones I've done. But
Yeah.
But
They
yeah,
don't
all
go
in
too
all,
far high above Alpine level though.
say that again.
They don't go too far above Alpine.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard. I mean, the area of Jackson is not popular because it's so high up. It's probably because you can get a ton of vertical like from your house.
Yeah. It's sheer verticality. I mean, you could go to Breck and be much higher than Jackson.
Yeah, but that's the other cool thing. So since it's just in the park and it's just accessible from one of the random parking lots, we slept at my house the night before, and then we came home and had dinner, and I showered and slept at my house the night that night after, which I think is like awesome, because you don't need to be like, it doesn't need to be like a 5-day trek in, bringing all your food, shitting in a bag for a week, to do this summit. You can do it from your own house or hotel room or whatever.
Yeah, that's a nice part about the Tetons. Other than like Mount Moran, there's not many things you need to take multi-days if you don't want to.
Yeah, how do you get to Mount Moran if you do it in the summer?
No idea.
You boat over, get dropped off?
I don't know. I just know it's a few days sent.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like 5 days, but I think it's 3 up and down. So 3
Really?
total, day and a half up, day and a half down. Maybe probably 2 days up, day down.
Man, I
don't know. Somebody's going to listen to this, call me an idiot.
Yeah, let's see this. Let's look it up. Young Taylor.
Young Taylor.
Mount Moran.
Yeah, I would love to do Mount Moran and then
CMC route.
Yeah, if that's the most popular, snag it. 5.3 to 5.4, so it is technical.
Does it say how far? Or how long?
No, I'd scroll down. And
I don't see
keep
anything.
going. This is an amazing name.
Drizzle Puss.
Jeez. The fact that that's like an actual name of something.
What is it the naming of? A peak?
I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing anything here.
I don't know. I
Either
know
way.
it takes a few days.
Either way, that's for another season. I think we got one. That's not us yet.
I'd do it.
Would you?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, maybe I will do it this summer. I have time.
Yeah. So that's the cool thing about some of the other Teton peaks. You can do it from your house, your hotel room, wherever you're at in Jackson. And now for the descent. Are you ready to talk about this again, or do you have too much scar tissue?
Oh no, I'm fine. It's you break down things to make them stronger.
Yep, we got to re-talk about it. So you start going down, and down is way harder, I thought, because the scrambling part, you just went up. Now you have to go down it, but there's a lot of loose rocks and gravel that you don't want to slide down because your partners are below you or other groups are below you, and that could kill them. So you're like trying to be soft and agile and get down at some sort of pace, but also not have anything slide. So that was super sketchy. That made us go really slow.
Yeah, and then even on a small example level, I had a rock slip out from underneath my foot, and it went and hit you in the ankle. You got a little bruise there.
Yeah, it's all good now. But it's like, but that was exactly why you said what you said when we first got into the rocks. Yeah. So you're supposed to hike near your partner, so that if one of you, the one above you or the one on the top, looses a rock, it's not going very fast when if it hits the person on the bottom, right? And that perfectly played out because we were like 3 feet apart.
Yeah, you wouldn't want a 10-pound rock hurtling.
Yeah, and that one wasn't that big, and we weren't that far away, and it's still like I was bleeding a touch from it, and I got a little bruise.
Yeah,
but like if it was any bigger,
5 feet away from each other.
Yeah, if it was any bigger, or if we were any farther away, that could have been actually dangerous.
Right.
But so it's perfectly that, like, the thing you said to do, like, worked out and proved itself. So you're going down, and then you get, it takes a while just to, like, because you're lowering yourself down every single step, and you're tired already a little bit. You get down to the saddle, and that's kind of when we like decompressed. We're like, all right, we did it. Like, let's get down, which was a little bit early, I thought.
That was a little.
We drank a beer there,
decompress.
had our lunch, and
gave people some advice on how to get up.
Yeah.
Yeah. The part that I was most nervous about ended up being the part that we should have been most nervous about.
The snow,
which was the snow going down once it had been baking in the sun.
Yeah.
Would have been real nice to have crampons.
Mm-hmm.
I had some little micro spikes that did nothing. Not even micro spikes, like trail running. How would you describe those? Like crampon, like little baby crampons?
Like if you put paper clips on some rubber and put them on your feet. That's how much metal was on that thing, right? Like a paper clip wrapped around the rubber.
Yeah, a little thicker than that, but
yeah,
that's not a bad description.
But yeah, and I just had on my hiking shoes and the ski poles. But yeah, we started going once we got through the boulders again. Oh, we forgot to talk about I guess we talked about the water, but like in the boulder field, there was all these little streams trickling through the rocks and over flat rocks and whatever. And this is what I thought was so awesome, because we're going through so much water on a hot day doing that sort of thing. It's so cool that we could just fill up at like every like mile basically if we needed to. That's how much like fresh
You're
water
at the source, brother.
At the source. Yeah, let's talk about the hydro. What is it?
Homies?
Yeah,
look
just
it up. Find it. I want to show you this. Yeah, there's this subreddit called Hydro Homies, which yeah, right there. And then like sort by
hydro
top
homies.
All. So then
This one?
go to top and go to all. Yeah.
So yeah, explain Hydro Homies again.
Yeah, Hydro Homies is just a group of people on Reddit who love water, and they're very bro about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's this one post on Reddit. Keep scrolling. It's like towards the top. Keep going. I have been to the source, brothers.
Oh my gosh.
This is what I was thinking about whenever Tyler filled up his water bottle.
Yeah. That's got to be out here.
You think so?
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
That actually doesn't actually look at the Tetons at all. But yeah, so he was telling me about this because there's all this cool water out here, and we're like, oh wow, look how clear it is. So we were being Hydro Homies.
Yep, Hydro Homies.
And then we reenacted this little video where this post on here, he's filling up at a mountain stream just like we were, and we're like, kept saying it.
It's cooler when you were there.
Yeah, should have been there. Had to be there. So sorry, I wanted to touch on that because that was like, I've been on long hikes and it's like you never know how you don't want to carry like 9 Nalgene's up there, you know.
Yeah.
But that's a really big. I think it'd be so much harder to do any of those peaks if that water wasn't so fresh.
Oh, you could life straw it or put some iodine in there, but I mean, I don't think you have anything to worry about. I mean, you're not sick, are you?
No, I'm good.
No, there you go.
And I drank like 3 hydro flasks of just mountain water.
Yeah.
So I think I might have a little bit more hair on my chest since then because of the mountain water.
On your
And
Tetons.
I think no, I shouldn't say that. I was gonna say something phallic. I think my muscles are a little bit
Keep
bigger.
it PG. keep the old.
No, I can click the
Podcast
I can
PG.
click the explicit button on when I post it. But yeah, mountain water, crisp, clean, tastes like America.
Yeah.
Cool. So we get down into the snow, back into the snow slopes, and now they've been baking for 5 more hours, something like that, 4 or 5 hours. And so, as you'd imagine, what snow does when it's July, it gets real soft and slushy and starts to you'd call it rotten snow almost, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're post-holing.
Yeah, like it
Punching through.
doesn't support your weight anymore. It slips away easier, and so there's these big snow fields that are like, I mean, what do you think the distance was of the one we slid down?
Maybe 150 feet. What do you think? 100 feet?
I was gonna say like, well, I was doing it in yards because I can picture football fields.
Oh, a football field?
Maybe like 200 yards from
football fields?
from like the size of the whole
I
field.
can see that.
Yeah. But so there's these snow fields like 200 yards tall or wide, whatever. And you're kind of going along the edges of them or going down them or going across them. And we get to one and we're traversing across it in these footprints, ours and others from the day. And we got our poles. We're trucking along, taking it slow, trying to kick in, get some grip. And I slip out and I start sliding down this thing. And I thought I was going to die. I'm not joking. I was like, I tried like sticking my poles in the thing like you had briefly mentioned to me. That didn't work. So it's like, fuck, this is the end. Because there was a big boulder below me, like very big.
He wasn't moving fast. And I know in the moment
Yeah.
you think you're moving fast enough to die. But me watching him, I'm like, oh, he's fine. I don't need to like slide down there and try to intercept him or anything.
Yeah.
Not that that's something you should do.
Yeah. But yeah, in the middle, I'm like, oh God, I'm not slowing down. I'm getting faster. This is where I die. And I actually like pictured myself like hitting the thing and like, what do I do? But then I like just started digging my hands into the snow and slowed down enough. And then I just gently came to the rock and like just stood up. But scary little moment there. And then I get up and then Alex is like, I'm like, I'm okay. And Alex is like, whoo, did you check your pants there? Stuff like that. And then he keeps walking and he's like, well, you know, if you slide like that, you got to do this to stop yourself. And mid demonstration, he falls and then has to demonstrate how to stop when sliding through an ice field.
It was the perfect demonstration.
It was perfect.
Yeah, I just taught a self-arrest in the moment.
Yes. Perfect
It was
timing.
spot on.
Yeah. Perfect timing. And so we both slid down this thing. We're both okay. I mean, I was a little, my like, you know when you get like a scary thing and your hands shake a little bit?
Yeah.
That's what I was doing.
Were you?
Because I was totally panicked. I was
That's
like,
awesome.
yeah. But I got down. We're all good. And the only injury is my knuckle is scuffed.
You got a boo-boo?
I got a boo-boo. We keep going down and...
A lot more. Somebody was pumping snow on the way down.
Yeah. We like totally forgot about how much snow there was because it was like, I mean, if the whole thing was like 13 and a half miles, right?
Yeah.
How many miles of snow do you think we crossed?
That's a good question. I think the switchbacks take up most of the
Oh yeah, the top is just such slow moving.
yeah.
3 miles of snow?
I'd say maybe 2 to 2.5.
Yeah.
Be my guess.
It's tough to tell because they're probably big areas, but they look so small because
Right.
of the canyon you're in.
Right.
But yeah, 2 miles for sure of walking on snow. And we just like kept coming to it. And we're like, God, we're just so sick of it because every single snowfield had big boulders at the bottom of it. And we